yeah.
Welcome back. There are numbers about women in startup that may surprise you. Less than 5% of startups are led by women. Women make up only 31% of business school students, and yet the percentage of female CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, that's less than 5%. Joining us to talk about this reality is Shayna Glenzer, VP of Social Marketing at one of our big startups, Social Radar. Shayna, welcome. You've been at 2 successful companies, well, more than that, actually. Tell us a little bit about your past.
Sure. I started back in education technology at a small startup called Smart Thinking, and quickly moved to Blackboard, which was led by Michael Chasen, sold for close to $2 billion. And during my last role there, I got to work with mobile and college students. And when Michael Chasen started Social Radar, it was a great fit for me to join that team and help lead their social marketing at Social Radar.
And now you're paying it forward by leading the way for other women. There's a big conference we're excited about here, Collaborate, organized by Fosterly, one of the great accelerators in our area. That's coming up in January, and you're going to be leading a discussion about women in startups, women in business. And you got some good news and some bad news, but one of the messages that you're going to give to any woman listening, and any man afraid to take this leap too, you say get comfortable with the idea of both risk and failure, that if you're going to put your toes in the water, be all in and be okay with possibly not succeeding.
Absolutely. One of the many benefits I've experienced over the last year being highly involved in the DC tech scene is working with many entrepreneurs, both men and women. And women are seeing some challenges that perhaps men don't. And some of those are, taking risks, taking the leap. Some are access to funding, networks that they feel that they don't have and maybe could have if they were a man. And so what we're trying to do at Collaborate is lead a panel of amazing women entrepreneurs to talk about some of the challenges that they've experienced and some of the ways that they've overcome those challenges to be successful. Like you've mentioned many times, and like we've seen in the last segment, there are amazing women entrepreneurs that have been successful in the area.
Well, and that's what I love. And one of the things that you suggest that all men and women think about, but especially women, find those good organizations that can support you. You talk about some of the ones in this area. I really like NABA, the National Association of Women Business Owners. They've got lots of different members here in this region, but there are plenty. And so you can kind of come together and do what women do best, which is support each other when you're trying to do something that's fairly risky.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of evidence that having a very strong community of women around you when you're starting a business or just launching with an idea that you think could be a success, having that community helps you to think bigger, helps you to establish goals, and then ideally find funding and opportunities, whether it be an accelerator program like Dream Ventures or other communities like ones that have popped up in DC to practice your pitches and to make sure that you're getting the right connections to take your business to the next level.
Well, you may have just named it, but you told us before the show there is an accelerator aimed at women. Which one was that? Is that?
So many accelerators obviously accept women, in their programs, but there's a few. Austin and Springboard specifically focus on women, but Dream It Ventures in Philly is just launching right now their female class of founders and startups. But you have to move to Philly. So for folks that aren't comfortable with that, there are some programs like Girls Raising in the Veneta Project where they bring events to the cities to gather women and allow them to pitch their ideas and get mentorship and potentially funding for their
maybe in our first female, not our first, but our next female mayor maybe could come together and help build an accelerator specifically for women, because you talk about things like access to capital. That's not something women always have easy access to, because a lot of times men ask other men who have already done it, been there. The pool is not large of other women who have already succeeded in this area.
You fall into the common traps of staying within your network sometimes when you're a VC. So what's been great is to provide, whether it's an accelerator or to see women like Dana Grayson at NEA, who's led the charge as a VC partner there to lead the charge for other women and enable them to see how can they pitch and be successful in front of other VC firms.
Now, one of the things that you're going to be talking about too is just the idea of risk and failure. I brought that up earlier. How did you get comfortable with that idea of each of the companies you went to? There's no guarantee of success. Even just moving from Blackboard to Social Radar was a bit risky. What convinced you that it was the right thing to do?
I've always been incredibly interested in technology, and I think with technology, and especially companies around technology, it always involves risk. Going to Social Radar was a bet on an idea that Michael Chasen had, and it was nice to, he had proven leadership, a proven background. I think having people that have been there before, though, when we're talking about what do women do when they have an idea and they want to take the leap and they're afraid, to fail, having the community where they can say, oh, that woman, she had a great idea and it didn't go so well, but she changed, she pivoted, and now she has an amazingly successful company. That's what they need to see, those examples, to take their leap.
Well, we're excited to attend Collaborate in January, and this is a great discussion to have any time of the year. Thanks so much for joining us. And when we come back, are you happy with Congress? They're pretty happy with themselves for passing that spending bill. I'm sure our roundtable is going to have more than a few opinions on that. Stay with us.